too much pressure on students. If all the focus is on academic result and the rest of their life is crumbling around them, where does that leave the child later? So it would be good to have a discussion with you sometime, Benny, but maybe sometime in the future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And speaking of Tenzing, please come forward.
Thanks for waiting for so long for this presentation. So I hope that I won't make you sleep. Okay, I'm going to present the topics on this online rubrics assessment tool, okay, for my marine engineering course. So basically, just give you a brief overall views of what is my current work. I'm from Newcastle University in UK, but we stationed in Singapore campus at Nanyang Polytechnics. So it's basically a joint collaborations between Newcastle Universities and Singapore Institute of Technology in Singapore. Alright, so we were one of their partners, okay, in this education in Singapore. Alright, so I just want to cover some of the very basic steps that I went through. Alright, so basically just a brief introductions, followed by some proposed methodologies and how I use some of the software to apply the rubrics, and discussion followed by the conclusions. Alright, because I'm teaching this marine engineering topics, okay, a few modules, and it's very multidisciplinary, okay, which consists of many kind of the experience and skill from both students and the staff, right? Because they come from a very different background, both in mechanical, electrical, naval architecture, marine, and offshore engineering. Plus, there's many more. All right, so you can see that there's a vast kind of different backgrounds, right, in those students and as well as the staff. All right, I basically from mechanical and electrical, and I switched to marine engineering. All right, so I myself come from a very different background. All right, so but this challenge can be successfully overcome if we can go through some careful and thoughtful plan, okay, such as using a rubrics. All right, the rubrics is a very authentic tools, all right, to assess the student work. All right, so there's many kind of criteria that we can use for assessing the students. All right, and we usually hand this out to the student before the assignments, okay, whether it's a coursework or anything, all right, that's related to some projects. All right, so that we get to give the chance, okay, for the student to discuss or to look through some of the criteria that I will mark them on. All right, so it basically encourages some of the bilateral communication between the staff or so-called instructors and the students. All right, so that there will be more there's some communication between us. All right, so we will cover how we apply this online rubrics form, okay, at the Newcastle University in Singapore. All right, so basically we're trying to evaluate a student's performance. All right, not just based on the sum of the full range of criteria. Okay, we based on the sum of full range criteria rather than just one numerical score, right? Pass, fail, or just basically that. All right. So you can see that most of the time, for convenience, like even to be honest, I prefer the hard copies because I really cut short a lot of my times because I can photocopy 20 or 300 sets of this. All right, but I find that it's not very practical, and if I want to change something, I have to print out and so on. Okay, so basically you can see that Okay, these are some of the rubrics, all right, in a hard copy format. All right, you will see some categories like the goods, the average, the poor, and what will be the score, all right, for each of these individual criteria, right, like in these introductions, use of methodologies, participation, and so on. All right, so you can see that this can be quite tedious for us to fill out, okay, and even for this to be presented in front of the students so that they are aware of their performance. All right, so we think of using some sort of online for one of our subject called the marine engineering design. All right, so we basically ask a group of students, okay, they are in a group of 5, right, to do a marine engineering design project like designing a system for the drill ships and so on. All right, so we will give these rubrics before the assignment starts, so that they have a feel of what are the criteria that they have to be more focused on. All right, and they have to finish this in 1 semester, meaning that 12 weeks. Right, 12 weeks they have to finish these projects in groups. So they have to do some, okay, for this project is about 40% of the total marks. All right, the remaining 60% will come from the exam. All right, and we will feedback to the students, all right, in accordance with the rubrics criteria. So basically, so we have 5 presentations during the projects. So after each project, we will forward this form to the students, so that they will see our feedback, right? And so this instructor have to complete the form so that the student will receive the feedback. Basically, okay, all this will be done online, okay, rather than these hard copy formats. All right, so they will be student will be informed of their performance, all right, and so that they will improve, okay, their performance next time. Okay, so what is this software? All right, you can see that this is a software that is given in our own newsleaf website. All right, so they are from our this IT departments. All right, so basically they give us a very a software called a form builder, right? So we can create the titles, you know, and some of the formats like the checklist, all right, for us to fill out, and the dates, the name of the student, and so on, all right? So you can also put in all the criteria that you want to assess the student, right? And you can have some scores, a range of scores for each of the criteria. All right, and we can also put our name, all right, so I don't put all the criteria here, all right, so I just place a few, just for you to see. All right, so we repeat the procedure for the remaining group so that we can create this form for each group. Okay? We have five group of students. All right, so we can see that this number here, group 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. All right, so this is a complete form that have been filled out. All right, and we, as I mentioned, that we will send feedback for these rubrics, okay, which will be filled out by the instructor to the student through emails. All right, so the student will be able to receive this, all right, after the presentations, okay, so that they can see that, okay, what is their performance and the comments made by the instructors. All right. So once we save changes and then we send, all right, you will see that both the instructors and students will receive the email notifications. Okay, and they will just double click on their mail and then they will look at their respective comments, okay, made by the instructors. All right, so you can see that this is somehow is not too difficult. Right, it's a very simple process that we do for one modules, okay, which means one subject. All right, so just for discussion, all right, the impact is evaluated based upon the result of the project marks, and we find that most of the students like to have some form of feedback, all right, so that they can know, okay, how they have done during the projects or even after the projects. Okay, as you know, that some of the Singapore students is very competitive, all right, they want to know, okay, how high is their mark, okay, but not just to pass, but to score, all right. This is some of the mindset of some of the Singaporean students, or even some of the these international students who is present in Singapore. Okay, so you find that they are very satisfied with this kind of methods, which they provide them some feedback, all right. And as compared to the previous semester, we find that the marks has improved, okay, based on this form of closed loop system, okay, which we provide some feedback to the students for improvement. And the survey result also found that yes, this in line with what we have mentioned, all right. So they like to have some form of feedback channels to be in place. Okay. All right. So in summary, the rubrics offer several common advantage. Okay, you can find this is a very common advantage for this type of systems. It basically clarified the criteria, okay, of the teachers. All right. Basically, what are the markings criteria, right? That has to be that the teacher will mark on. All right. So they will be well prepared for that. Okay, and to improve the consistency in evaluating the student works, right? So we do not want to have a double standards or different way of marking the student. So we want to be fair for each of the students and not to be biased. Okay, we also want to improve the student performance, all right? So that through this type of feedback channel, so that they have they realize that what are the mistakes they have made, and they can try to improve on this, right? And it's very difficult to fail the projects unless the students really fail himself. Okay, but with the feedback, it really make them feel better. All right. Okay, so as a conclusions, we have done this on a subject called Marine Engineering Design at Newcastle University, and we found that the feedback was quite satisfactory, right? And through this online feedbacks, all right, there's quite a sort of number of words. There's a bit of work to be done, okay, for the instructor to set up this one. Although it's quite simple, all right, but there's a fair bit of time to be spent. Okay, and it's good that the school can recognize this, okay, to give more credits to the staff. All right, I think my boss is not here. All right, and the workload of the instructor need to be adjusted, all right, based on some of this effort that they put in as the teachers. All right, and this is something that have to be recognized in certain areas. Okay, this can be applied definitely to all institutions in the world, right? Okay, but I believe that we need to be trained in some online software, all right? But there is something that we need to be trained so that we can use the tools very effectively. Okay, and yeah, I think this can be a further educational research into these areas. So this can be something quite interesting. So thanks for your attention. Okay, and just open up to some question and discussion. So it's a very, very short presentation. All right. Thank you very much for attention.
Take a photo and then It's good. Okay, so then, when I received the abstract from Chen, immediately I was interested because your focus is on maritime students, and I do believe in a vague sort of way that the template that that Chris and I have developed. You've developed it from the perspective of assessing students for their coursework. I see that the Lifeway Progress Report is a self-assessment rubric, and teachers can build into that, or students can build into that, and I believe that there is potential. And we've always looked at the possibility of ours being online also, but I think particularly the younger students probably find it easier. So thank you. Thank you. Now we are down to our last presentation. Jethro was listed to be a presenter from New Zealand, but Jethro has very kindly agreed